include, um, such as Egypt, ancient Sumeria,
So what you
um,
think?
the Phoenicians, and etc. That's what I think. That I believe that that's all true. That can be tracked, and that those migration patterns, what establish.
17 miles per hour. That's going to not make or break, um, as far as natural selection. You know what I mean? But if
Yeah,
you were
I
to
I don't think
say
it wasn't. I don't think it has to do with speed or strength. I think it was just adaptability. How
exactly adaptability,
how
they
adaptable
stood
you
up
are to the
straight. They
environment.
could
Because if you
they
can
could
adapt to
travel further.
yeah, if you can
Yeah,
adapt to
The
any
the only
environment, how are you going to survive?
but
Like,
I think
the only
all
thing
of it is
I
theory. But I think we can outthink. We outthought those beings, and that's why we won anyway.
I agree
Because
with that.
oh
we
yeah,
can't
Brian.
outrun a cheetah. We can't outrun a cheetah neither though. So like you gotta like when you guys are doing like the compare and contrast. I mean, we can't outrun most animals. The average human runs like 16 miles per hour. Some shit like that on a regular. Then there's cheetahs out here that can run 80 miles per hour, and then there's most animals can run like 40 miles per hour. But the reason why we survive, even with the animals present on the planet, is because we can outthink them. We had the ability to make tools. We had the ability to create fire. We had those abilities that survival tactics that because of our brain, that made us outlast those
So
other
overall, we
hominids.
are competing for different resources, though. We're competing for different resources. We're not competing for the same resources
Like,
that
I feel as though,
they
like I said, I feel as though it was the
and if there's a
adaptability
right,
to the
yes,
environment. Also, I do believe it was the strategizing powers because
they did
if
they
we're all in a race,
did
right?
not.
And we're all trying to get to one, we're all trying to get to one thing. The fastest person might win the race, but at the same time, how do you strategize about going about that race? Do you just go straight for it? Do you make a strategy plan? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel as though in order for them to get to where
For
we
sure, but
are
if you can
today,
strategize around your attributes, around your best attributes, then you yeah, the strategy is definitely gonna make a difference. But it is the physical attributes why we survived longer than them, bro. If you're too slow and your brain is too big to process shit, then you will not survive very long at all. Like that's kind of just how it
I
works.
I
Like
tell
the
you,
environment will be very
I
harsh
tell
on
you,
you.
that's speed was not the
and
biggest
I don't even think
aspect
it was speed
that
because
made
they were
it
bone
wasn't
hunters.
it was our ability to eat. Homo sapiens sapien, for one, trollers is more correct. I say it had to do with the size of the brain with Homo sapiens sapien. Also, they could eat damn near anything. That's what
Because
primarily
if you
made
look
Homo
at
sapiens sapien. Um,
if you look at any Neanderthal, their bones are very dense.
You
Their
not gonna get
eyebrow ridges
around
are
with
very
you
dense.
not gonna get out of it without saying that the speed wasn't like a significant factor because
speed got
it
I'm
nothing to
not
do
saying
definitely
the
with it,
speed
was.
bro.
wasn't
Like,
a
to be honest,
significant
like
factor, but if
I
your
mean, the
bones
facts
are
just show you
17,
if
otherwise,
you're
bro.
17,
if you're trying to hunt every
17.6
day,
miles per hour and 14.6 miles per hour is the same fucking thing. You still
No,
can't
it's
escape a
not.
cheetah.
Hell no,
You
bro.
still
Hell
can't
no.
escape a cheetah, bro.
Bro,
Yeah,
cheetahs didn't even exist back then, bro. Cheetahs did not exist. Are you sure
what are you
cheetahs
talking
existed
about?
back then?
now we
Are you
losing the
sure cheetahs
Back
conversation.
existed
when?
There
then?
Back
was there
when?
was cat
Wait,
there were
Time
cats
out, time
bigger
out.
than
Hold up, hold
cheetahs.
up, hold up, hold up. When did cheetahs come into existence, bro? When do you think humans came
That's
into
what I'm
existence?
asking. That's what I'm
No, I'm
asking.
asking
When
you.
did cheetahs
Okay,
come
what?
into
How
existence?
long ago do you think Homo erectus came into
So
existence? That's what I
so
want to know.
bone so bone we're gonna gauge it back to the topic. To
Ah,
what
what the hell? All
extent
right,
do
man.
genetic variations in different populations worldwide suggest independent evolution and adaptation rather than a singular origin in Africa?
That's right.
Worldwide. Okay. Do y'all need a repeat of the question? Genetic variations in different populations worldwide suggest independent evolution and adaptation rather than a single origin in Africa.
When it comes to the 23 primary archaic humans, yes. But when it comes to specifically Homo sapiens sapiens, yes, we can propose that Homo sapiens sapiens arose out of Africa, but that does not
Yeah, they
account for
definitely did.
all 23 subhumans. there are
So
Nah,
evidence.
can you expound?
there
Can
were
you expound
dinosaurs.
on the 23 subhumans? Can you expound on that a little bit?
Just
Can you
just
go a
what
little
you
bit into
just what
detail?
yeah, basically just what you said. There is no such thing as an original human. All these subspecies popped up over the planet over expanse of time and through the intermixing, interbreeding.
Also, I got a question
That's
though. Would you say
good.
that those subspecies descended from Homo sapiens?
They didn't descend from Homo sapiens.
All right.
Homo
But
sapiens sapien is one of the later species. Denisovan, Grimaldi, all these are earlier archaic humans. You
Are
know,
you
this
And
sure?
evolution.
that's why
Yeah,
I was asking that question to that dude, because if you don't know the time zone, like that question was a statement, because that was really a fact. There's no really talking around that. The hominids came from all over, and not just, Homo sapien erectus is what we know came from Africa. There so far there's no debate in that, because that's the oldest Homo erectus that we found. But there's been all sorts of other hominids found everywhere. And we keep talking about Neanderthals, but there was different forms of hominids that were actually faster than Homo erectus. So I don't think speed wasn't always the thing, the situation, because there was different hominids. There's all I don't think you know all the different types of hominids. So,
right.
and that's
Just like
that's why it's important to know the time zones of Homo erectus, 400,000 years. What was Neanderthal? What was Cro-Magnon? What was Grimaldi? What was you know? There's all sorts of different hominids, so you have to put a time period on it.
yeah, if you look at Australopithecus by itself, you can push that back to 7 million years. So we're talking about an expanse that the human mind can't even compute. You know what I mean? This shit is not a quick process. It's a slow process, human evolution, which is why I speak to there is no original human, because they're all mixes of each other, just like the Khoisan people. The Khoisan are some of the lightest people in Africa, but they also carry some of the oldest genetic variation, including the A00 gene, which is a subhuman. The A00 gene is, I'm not specific, it could be Denisovan, but that's not even a modern human species, A00 gene. But you find people in Africa as well in America with it. So that tells you that we were a part of that process, and for as far as human evolution, like there is no original. It was just a compilation, a
was
gradual
it
compilation.
Lucis over?
Lucy was
Yeah,
Australopithecus,
definitely was Australopithecus. Yeah.
Yeah.
but Lucy wouldn't even necessarily walk fully upright or been able to use tools like Grimaldi, man. Grimaldi is like kind of
Nah,
short
but
for handyman.
she was very like
Look,
ahead of her time though, for sure.
yeah.
Oh,
I'd say
Lucy.
Lucy was when we first escaped to the savannas. Like Lucy would be like when we, if you want to say like Planet of the Apes type shit, like that's what Australopithecus was. You know what I mean? Very
It's a weird
great
time back
apish.
then. Real talk.
Yeah.
It's a weird ass time.
But you even see people with some of these genetic variations from people, like even if you look at Aborigines and with the deep brow ridges and shit like that, those are from subhumans. You know what I mean? Even go to Africa, like I ain't trying to say it, but it's some ugly motherfuckers in Africa. But that's representative of those archaic humans. I'm just being honest. I ain't trying to be, you know,
What about
biased
Yeah.
or
Russia though?
either.
You can't
Yeah.
even say it's just Africa though. Russia, they got some
No,
of
no.
that shit too though.
Not really,
They're
bro.
Yeah,
bone
but white
It's
people
ridiculous.
not
in
that many
general.
ugly people in Russia, bro. Russia do not got that many ugly people, for real, for real.
Yeah, yeah,
What?
they
Well,
got
why
them
y'all
deep
think they
brow
group
What are
us
you
them
all
talking
big
about?
together?
Russia?
bone
Yeah,
If you
nah,
ask
bro.
a
They got
white
some hairy
person, we
mother. They
don't
got
look
some
no
hairy
That
different
was
than
a
an
motherfuckers in Russia,
African.
bro.
subjective ass statement.
Yeah, that was
Why you
funny.
think they group us?
It's
Why y'all
it's
think they
just the
group us all
ugly people
together though?
everywhere.
Hey, he said some white supremacist shit. They don't got no ugly people in Russia.
Yeah,
They
like
got, first of
I
all,
ain't Stroller. I ain't know how to respond to
all
that
them
Yeah, that
niggas
shit.
was
is ugly to
wild,
me.
bro.
Yeah, that
Nigga,
was
they got
wild.
That's what I'm
some,
like. Wait,
bro. They
what?
got some ugly people,
Nigga,
but they not just like the
huh?
ugliest in the fucking world. Like they not known for being
It's
ugly,
okay. We ain't
bro.
even
So
going.
what?
We ain't even going.
Yo,
We ain't
that's
even going to
wild.
harbor
What are
that.
you trying? I don't get it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that.
but I don't know what you're trying to say. But what I'm saying is this: like there is like the Russians, the Armenians, and a lot of Eastern Europeans. They have hairy backs, hairy chests, hairy everything. Like they have hair all over. They have the most people who have. I forgot what that disease is called when you have hair all over your face. You remember the guy that they were using
Werewolf
for
syndrome.
Geico?
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and that has to be from some primordial bullshit. The Beast Man, yeah.
But that's
The
still
the
ethnic
wild
white
man.
though. They white, but they ethnic at the same time. But the other motherfuckers from Russia, they just as white, but they look different.
Napa, go ahead and get in there.
So they're even saying, you can look this up right now. They're saying there's still some Homo habilis running around Africa. You know what I mean? In Europe, they're saying that, with the completion of the human genome, they're saying that there are some people that's more Homo habilis than Homo sapien. You know what I mean? When you look at people like Hunchback of Notre Dame and like Trollers say all these genetic diseases, quote unquote, it's just
Yeah.
genetic information, to be honest. And they carriers
All right,
of
I
some
got
of
another question
these
for y'all.
things.
I got another question for y'all. So, does the mitochondrial DNA support the out of Africa theory, particularly in tracing maternal lineages back to common African origin? So, yeah, do y'all understand that
Oh,
question?
come on, mitochondria.
I mean, I guess so. Mitochondrial DNA is passed on unchanged, so it's a direct reflection of that. You know what I mean? I even challenge people. The first person to bring the out of Africa theory to Europe was goddamn what's the goddamn the motherfuckers people call racist Darwin. Yeah. So he didn't create the out of Africa theory, but the out of Africa theory have been alive and well since Al Jahi, which is a black Muslim that wrote the Book of Animals. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
the topic of evolution has been is depicted in Egypt, is depicted all throughout Africa. There's even had some myths that speak of ape-like people um, um, walking around the planet in Africa. So I mean, you can connect the shit, and it all makes sense. You know what I mean?
The question. Let me ask you a question, Napa, about your question. Are black women the only women on the planet with mitochondrial DNA?
No, no,
So
absolutely
there's
not.
no
No.
yeah. So there's
Yeah, the
no
Eve
connection,
gene
but
is
there is a
bullshit.
connection
Yeah,
through mitochondrial DNA. A certain variant in the mitochondrial DNA that connects us all to one specific female that they use. So yeah, that question it's fact. That it definitely connects us. But that's just one X chromosome variant, though. It's not about the mitochondrial DNA, though.
right.
Hmm.
Anybody else want to touch on it? What's up, OG? No. Yes. Maybe. I guess not. All right.
Let's see.
Okay. You there, Renee? Renee ain't there. Okay. So hold on, y'all. Let me get the other question.
I'd like to say one thing, just a misnomer. that whole depiction of evolution that shows the chimpanzee to man, that's falsehood. You know, that's a art. That's a piece of art that was attributed to the theory of evolution, but the theory of evolution does not propose that that humans come from chimpanzees. Chimpanzees and humans come about around the same time, and that's fairly recent. You know.
Yeah, they have a common ancestor though, right?
Yeah, common ancestor. That's called the missing link. We don't
Hold
know
on, why
what
we
that
still got
is.
chimpanzees?
What you mean? We split. Why would we not have chimpanzees? We don't come from chimpanzees. We just share a common ancestor.
How do y'all think
That's
evolution came about? How do y'all think like I'm just freestyling now. I ain't got no questions, organic. If you do, you can text me. But how do y'all think that evolution came about, or like life on Earth? What's y'all's like like theory on that?
The closest thing I can
I
relate to is the Anunnaki and the Sumerian text.
Anunnaki.
What they say.
Okay, yeah, okay. On
Wait a
that, what
minute.
you got, Troller? What you got, Troller?
I think it was the ignorance about the other hominids that we were just talking about. I think they were finding other hominids, and Darwin and a couple other people, they kind of like used that as a means. What Lucy, I always mispronounce after the Pacific kids or whatever it is, but a Lucy that 7 million years ago to us now, and they try to make it seem like we fit that timeline. But I think Homo erectus is its own species in itself. But I think it came from the ignorance of those pre hominids.
Okay. We're gonna bring it down to a societal standard. Let's bring it down to some systems now. All
So
right. This might get a little political, might get a little heated, but we're gonna flow with it. Are we good on
Never
genetics,
stopped
sis?
us before.
We good on genetics? We are good on genetics. Should affirmative action policies be implemented?
Honestly, I think that the country is already majority white. So it makes me think if we didn't have affirmative action, there may be some black applicants that are qualified, but they may not even get noticed because it's more white people that are qualified, even though they can have the same skill set and the same credentials. The white people just might get picked first just based off sheer numbers alone. So we might even need to have affirmative we might need to have affirmative action just so black